Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are bringing you player props here for Monday night's Game 4s in the NBA playoffs. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. We're bringing you each and every game video with a playoff for each of these playoff games, as well as these player props. So I want to make sure you're sticking around for all of those. Also want you to head to thelines.com. Make sure you are using that props tool. Go ahead and shop those NBA player props with all of those available odds from odds makers out there that we have for you there. And also want you to head to play.thelines.com. That is where we're giving you the opportunity to win a $25 gift card to Amazon if you do get all of those picks correct in that NBA Daily Pick'em Challenge. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to FDPicks.com or DKPicks.com. Find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for player props. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, I mean, the best bet if you have a FanDuel account right now is that top point scorer market. In the Bucks-Celtics game, Giannis, I said last night, was plus 100 to lead the game in scoring. It's now minus 105. Hopefully they don't pull it like they did with the Ja Morant market in Game 3, because they realized that was so obvious that he was going to lead the team in scoring, the game in scoring. And it's the same kind of situation. The Celtics are a far more balanced team than the Bucks right now. Giannis is posting a 43.5% usage rate in the last two games. Just went for 42 points. The Bucks are scoring everything in the paint, outscoring the Celtics by 21 points per game in the paint. The C's are scoring everything from the perimeter. So it's all about Giannis attacking. They are completely content to let him shoot threes if he wants to. So that would be a bonus if you bet his over here. 30.5 points is just the straight up points bet. You can get plus 500 at DraftKings for him to score 40 again. I don't think that's totally outlandish here. I hope he doesn't. I hope the C's find a way to limit him. But look, in the playoffs at home since last season, 33 points and 13.5 rebounds per game. He's at 51.5 PRA. I mean, that's almost there already. You need 4 or 5 assists to get him over the PRA. I know these are huge prop numbers, but with Middleton out, that usage rate is just insane. The Bucks aren't really able to get much else going against this otherworldly Celtics defense. It's just a lot of Giannis forcing the issue. And his usage rate without Middleton since the 2020 season is 37%. So there is plenty of precedent for him to continue to shoot at this high volume.
Yes, there is. And yes, he will continue to do that. There's no reason to think that the game plan changes at all. I mean, he was still a very efficient, was 16 of 30, I believe. He shot better than 50% from the field. So yeah, he had 30 field goal attempts, 16 of 30. He did go 1 for 6, like you mentioned. Really, the 9 for 12 is what he's exactly what he's averaging against the C's, pretty much dating back to the regular season against them. So you have to like that for him if he's going to continue to get those 12, especially at home, as we talk about. Where he is in the playoffs, definitely getting a bit of the home whistle there, it seems, at the very least. And in Boston, definitely in that Game 2, he wasn't getting those calls as he was going to the rim and crashing into people, getting a bit more actually offensive fouls in that one. So I'm actually going to stick in this game and move on to Drew Holiday here, just because you're talking about the usage rate of Giannis at 43%. So I thought it would just be really, sort of eye opening to disclaim that in that same time frame we're talking about, Drew Holiday's usage rate is 30%, which means that they're taking 3/4 of their team's shots in every single game when they're on the floor, which is understandable. And Chris Middleton would be right in there, just chipping in and probably taking a few percentages away from them and evening it out to about 40% a pop, or 30% a pop for each of them, so that they're taking basically 9/10 of the shots. But without him, that leaves even extra shots for Drew Holiday, who also took 30 shots in this last game and in this series. Since without Chris Middleton, is shooting the ball 23 times a game since Chris Middleton went out, including the 2 or 3 against Chicago, or 3 games against Chicago. We're talking about 21 shot attempts a game for Drew Holiday, keeping that usage rate at about 30%, 28% since Chris Middleton went down, 30% in this series, 39 minutes a game in this series, which is leading the team in shooting. He's in against Boston, 23 points a game, 7 boards, 5 assists. And it's really about the shooting and the amount of shots that he is taking. That is really what I want to just keep going back to the points prop for him. He's a guy that all season long you could find various ways to bet different props for him as he fills up all the stats. But this is one where he just keeps shooting the ball because he knows he's second banana, as we say. And there's really not even in a close third banana right now. I mean, they don't seem to have the same level of trust in Grayson Allen and Pat Connaughton. And obviously they're not playing against the Bulls perimeter defense right now. They're playing against the Celtics perimeter defense, which is the best in the league and has been all season, even before they turned it up a notch into one of the best defenses we've seen in recent history. So I think Drew's going to continue to do that. They know, he's going to continue to shoot the ball as much as he has. He hasn't been putting up very efficient numbers at all. But at least from three since Middleton went down, we're talking about 3.5 made threes on just over 7 attempts, which is obviously a very, very good percentage for him. So he's still hitting that three at a nice clip that makes you, continue to like 20.5 points for him. It's just still too low in my opinion, as I think he's going to continue to get 21, 23, 25-ish points a game in this series.
And as we talk about these two guys taking all the shots for the Bucks, I think it's an opportunity to take some unders on their role players who just aren't getting many opportunities, or guys like Wes Matthews who aren't asked to do anything. 5.5 points is his prop, but he does not have more than 5 points in any game this series, despite playing about 30 minutes per game. He's made just 2 field goals in his last 2 games here. He has 4 fouls in the last game, as he's just bodying up Tatum the entire game. He could easily wind up in foul trouble early, and maybe Coach Bud goes in a different direction in terms of how he wants to guard Tatum this game. And then all of a sudden, where's Wes Matthews going to get any points? Also, looking at Bobby Portis a little bit, since he was pulled from the starting lineup, his playing time is down. 19.5 points rebounds seems a bit high, but he is a streaky shooter. It depends if he gets open. I think the Celtics otherwise are starting to figure out how to defend him in terms of him getting his own shot. And he's just not getting that many opportunities to produce, like I'm saying, with Giannis shooting the ball half the time. On the other end of the floor, though, the Celtics do spread it out and they get good shots. The Bucks are willing, again, to give up good shots to guys like Al Horford, who they think are not going to continue to shoot 50% from 3, but that's what he's shooting in these playoffs. He's now hit 4 threes in 2 different games against these Bucks. And coming off a 22, 12, and 5 turn back the clock night. His PRA is only 24.5 here, minus 104 at FanDuel. I like the all-around production. Don't mind 11.5 points. I think maybe the best bet, though, is plus 215 for him to hit 3 triples. Like I said, he's hit 4 in a couple games. I think he can get to 3 here because the Celtics are scoring 48% of their points from beyond the arc in this series. They're not attacking. Horford doesn't really attack down low that much at this stage in his career. It's just a lot of swinging around until you get a good look. And he's willing to fire. And he's just on the floor almost the entire game because he's the primary defender on Giannis. In the series, he's getting 15 points, 12 rebounds, nearly 4 assists. So that's way over, that's 31 PRA. And the prop's still pretty exploitable there. Also consider Rob Williams, 8.5 points at near even money. His playing time should go up. And as these games get muddier and muddier, the putback buckets are what you'd like to bank on from a guy like Rob rather than hoping for a star player like Tatum, who I know Josh thinks is going to blow up. And I hope I can just troll him into having a 30-point game by saying he's getting bullied in this series.
I love your reverse psychology there. As a fan, it's brilliant. At least you keep your expectations where you need them so that you are less angry if they're not fulfilled. That's fandom 101. You also shorted Papa Al like 4 boards. He had 22, 16 boards and 5 assists in game 3. The young man was all over the floor in this one. And I continue to like him as well, as with everything you're saying. He's going to get the minutes. He's in locked in mode, and he's the most experienced on this team at this point, and really the guy that you like to continue to lead them on defense. And he knows he's taking those open threes, despite the fact that 1 out of every 3 or 4 of them is going to look like an ugly line drive when they go in. They're silky smooth and clean. So I love it. And you are correct that I would like to see something from Tatum tonight. I believe in him as a player. If you think there is an actual effect of his slight pinky injury or whichever finger it was that he's now feeling a bit of a strain on, that does make me a bit nervous. But I do feel sort of like a sort of not legendary performance, but I think we're going to see what he's made of, and that this dude's going to continue to prove like he's about to be in the top 5 in the league if he's not already there. So, but the one I'm going to actually probably bet on, not him, is Jordan Poole. And that's because they continue to make his prop 20.5 points. And there's only in 2.5 threes for him. Over that is plus 105 on DK. Both of those things are still borderline disrespectful to the dude who was in the G League last year and is now leading this Warriors offense for a large portions of the game. Even when Curry and Thompson are on the floor, they're still happy to give him the ball, especially at home, which is one thing we really love to continue to target with him when the Dubs go back home in these playoffs. His splits, I mean, he's got 23.5 points a game, basically in the playoffs. But at home, he's also shooting 59% in 4 home games, 54% from 3. So it's his efficiencies at home that we look at and go, wow, like this kid is just continuing to completely amaze us. In his last 4 against Memphis in general, including dating back to the regular season, 26 points a game, 5 boards, 5 assists. He is getting those 32.5 minutes, which is slightly under actually what he's getting in these playoffs. He's getting a few more than that. 54, 44, 100 splits, and a 28% usage rate. All those numbers are very, very impressive, especially for a 20, maybe 1-year-old dude who I actually don't even know if he can still buy alcohol yet. But in these playoffs, he scored 20 plus in 6 of these 8 games that he's played in. So I have no reason to think that he's going to slow down right now, especially as they get another game in Golden State.
Yeah, I mean, you can't load up on Jordan Poole in this offense either. I mean, the reason he's producing so much is because Steph Curry draws so much attention. He's starting to break down Memphis on penetration. Curry is, and then everything just flows from there. The Warriors offense is really starting to click, averaging 31 assists per game and 120 points per game in the series. And Poole as the second option, yeah, you got to like him to get 20 plus here. And what should be a runaway victory, we think, without Ja Morant.
We think, yeah, we said in the game, I mean, 10 points still scares us when you look at how well this Memphis team played. I don't believe in them. I lean slightly towards not believing in the lack of stardom in this game, in a playoff game as such. And with the way that those role players have been struggling for Memphis, you still feel pretty good about, Golden State going back to Memphis up 3-1. So that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Continue to follow along with us as we bring you each and every playoff game video, as well as these player props. And until we see you next, happy betting.